All right, today we have a new power station from ETaker. Let's take a look at some of the specs here on the box before we open it up. It's got a semi-solid lithium-ion battery, and it has a GaN inverter, so it uses GaN devices rather than silicon-based transistors and MOSFETs, which this is supposed to be more efficient. And let's take a look at the specs here on this side. It has a 2008 watt-hour battery. It's a 32.4 volt system, 62 amp hours. It has 1200 watts max on the AC charging input. It has 1000 watts max on the solar charging input. That can be 18 to 50 volts DC. And then on the AC inverter output, it can do 2000 watts with a 4000 watt surge. All right, let's open it up. Okay, so this is probably our accessory box. We have our solar charging cable, so we've got MC4 to an XT60. We got our AC charging cable, and we've got our car charging cable. We have our user manual. All right, and there's the unit. So the thing that I'm noticing initially right off the bat is it's considerably smaller and lighter than most units in this range. So like anything that's got this kind of battery capacity, like 2000 watt hours and a 2000 watt inverter, is typically larger than this. Yeah, obviously it's able to be smaller because it has the semi-solid lithium-ion batteries. All right, so let's just take a little closer look at the front. So we've got a USB section here. It looks like we've got two 2.4 amp USB A's. Then we've got two 60 watt USB A's. And then we've got two power delivery USB-C 100 watt. On the DC side here, we've got our car input and our solar input. We've got 12 volt barrel jacks right here at 6 amps each. And then we've got a cigarette lighter style jack at 12 amps. And on the AC side, we've got 6 AC receptacles. Looks like 3 have the grounding lug. Yeah, so the 3 on the bottom have the grounding lug, and the 3 on the top do not. We've got an on-off switch, and we've got a screen. And on the back side, we have, looks like a light. We have our AC charging port. We have a resettable breaker here. And then this is a port, I believe, to parallel multiple of these units together. I think there's a box that you can run multiples of these into to increase capacity and wattage. All right, so let's turn this guy on. There we go. So it looks like it arrived to us at a 55% stated charge. It shows our input wattage and our output wattage. All right, let's get a weight on this guy. And we have come in at 37.6 pounds. All right, and let's get right down to business and hook up some solar. I got these two Bouger 12 volt panels. They're 200 watts each. I got them wired in series. And I think that's going to get me as close as I can probably get with what I've got here to the 50 volts. It's going to be under the 50 volts, but we'll try that out. All right, so before we plug this in, we want to check to make sure we are actually under that 50 volt limit. So let's do that now. And indeed we are. We have 42.3 volts open circuit, so we should be safe. And let's go ahead and plug this guy in and see what it can do. Thinking we should be seeing something here, being that this is the input side. Yes, we do. Okay. 250, 290, over 300. All right, looks like we got about 354 watts, which is pretty good coming out of two 200-watt panels, and they're probably not perfectly aligned. I wonder if I could get them a little bit better aligned, maybe raise them up a little bit. We got the 360. So what I want to do right now is I want to shade the panels by walking in front of them, and then I'll move out of the way. And I want to see how quickly we get back to 360 watts. Okay, I'm shading both panels right now. Got partial shades on both. And I am fully out of the way now, and they are back in the sun. All right, so it was pretty quick because it got back up before I even came back around. Very nice. All right, I'm just gonna let this thing charge on solar for a bit. All right, guys, so this thing's fully charged 100%. So now let's try to run some AC loads. And let's just try to max it out, actually. Let's turn this AC out on. There we go. Let's turn this guy on. It's on its max power of 8. And it shows here we are pulling 1.74 kilowatts. So let's go ahead and plug in this fan. See if we can't push it a little bit more. Just go high. There we go. Now we're talking. So we're pushing 1.93 kilowatts. That's pretty close to the max. Let's just go ahead and let it run until this thing starts whistling. All right, there's the whistle. Turn that off. And it took about 6 minutes. Yeah, this thing's still running perfectly fine. I'm gonna take the fan out so it's not so loud. And this thing is not making much noise, if any. I do feel a breeze coming from back here. It's very quiet. This thing is making much more noise. Let's see if we can't stop this. Here, we'll unplug it. Now there is a fan you can hear on this guy. Oh, it just wound down, but it was very quiet. Okay, so one quirky thing that I'm noticing, I was setting this up with the heater so I could try to push it closer to the 2000 watts and even try to go over a little bit. But as I was hooking up this heater, I noticed that Seems like it seems like the wattage here is stuck. So it's showing 52 watts here. But obviously on the kilowatt meter it's showing 720. So I set the heater on medium from low. We're still showing 52 watts on the output, but now we're showing 1065 on the kilowatt meter. And then now the heater's on high. We're showing 1402 watts on the kilowatt meter. Oh, now it's changed. That's weird. So we'll go back to low. We're showing 726 watts, and we're still showing 1.47 kilowatts there. Strange. It's like this thing's not always updating. Alright, I'm going to leave it on low at 727 watts and see if this right here will ever catch up. Okay, it actually did go ahead and update to the correct wattage. We're showing 728 on the kilowatt meter and 753 on the unit here. I guess it just doesn't update that quick. Let's see if we can turn this on something lower. Let's try 4. Okay, so we're doing 1.88 kilowatts. See if we can go up 1 notch to 5. All right, now we're at 1.97. .98. So I mean that's pretty much the 2,000 watt limit. So I think I'm going to let that run at that 1.98, and I'll come back in a few minutes. Alright, so I actually ran down to the gas station for a minute, and now I'm back, and we are still pulling that almost 2 kilowatts, 1.99 kilowatts. We've drawn it down to 60%. Still running. There's no issue there. So let's crank something up and just try to push this thing over. So I went up to 6 on this. Oh, now we're showing 2.12 kilowatts. .18. Still going. Let's push it to 7. Still going. I'm not seeing this go any higher. There it is, 2.39. So it seems like it sometimes takes a while for this to update. So it's just sitting there doing 2.4 kilowatts. Oh, I think it turned off. Yeah. So that's what it's supposed to do. It shut down to protect itself since we were pushing well over that 2,000 watt limit. Alright, so I got this guy charged all back up to 100%. And so now I want to do a usable capacity test through the cigarette lighter jack. So let's go ahead and turn the DC output on. There we go. And let's start the test. Alright, so we're pulling about 103 watts according to this guy here. So we'll let it continue on and I'll be back when it's complete. Alright, so the test has completed. So let's take a look. We have pulled 1,768.2 usable watt hours. Alright, so now that we're fully depleted, we're going to charge it back up on AC and time it to see how long it takes to fully charge. So let's do that now. Alright, it's plugged in. Starting up. Alright, so we got some power coming in. Let's go ahead and start the timer. There we go. So we'll let that continue on and I'll be back when it's fully charged. Alright, there's 100%. It is fully charged. Let's stop the timer. And it took 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 43 seconds. Alright, now since we're back to 100%, I want to do a usable capacity test through the AC output this time. And we're just going to run this air conditioner as the load. So let's go ahead and turn the AC output on. And then let's turn this. Oh, okay, this is already coming on. Gotta wait for the compressor to kick on here.
One eternity later.
Okay, there it goes. Yeah, so the compressor's kicking on now. So we got 175 watts. Probably should go up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Yep, about 325 watts. Alright, so I'll just let that continue on and I'll be back when it's complete. Alright, so this thing has ran down to 0%. So let's pull the kilowatt meter. And we'll plug it into my grid so we can see what the readings are. Okay, so we got 1.7 kilowatt hours of usable power from the AC side. Alright, so I got more solar hooked up now. We're getting about 700 and... well, we were just getting over 700 watts. And it's just super overcast today. But I've got these two arrays hooked up right here. They're all in parallel. That way I don't go over the voltage. But as you can see, these panels don't put out too close to that 50 volt limit. We're getting like around 30 volts. So that's going to limit us about how much power we can get in, because there's like a hard limit of, I think, 20 amps. Yeah, there we go. We're hitting that 20 amps right there. So we should be getting, yeah, there we go. Now we're getting 730, oh, 7, yeah, about 750 roughly. Yeah, so when it comes to power stations, you really, you got to find that solar panel that's going to put out the voltage that's close to that max so you can get the most out of it. Oh, there's 745 again. Oh, 754. Yeah, I think I'll let that charge up on solar again for a little bit. Okay, so I noticed one thing that was a little quirky while playing around with the solar. So do you see this icon right here? It's like an icon of a solar panel. And right above it, there's an icon of like a cigarette lighter plug. Like this. So every once in a while playing around with the solar here, I may hook it up and it doesn't go to this solar icon, it goes to the car plug icon, which then limits it to even less current. Let me see if I can get it to do it. There it goes. So it started off with the solar icon and then it moved to the cigarette lighter style icon. And now we're limited to 250 watts and it won't go over that. Now that only happens on these panels. I tested it out on all the other panels that I could and it doesn't do it. It only does it on these. And the real difference between these and some of the other panels that I have is the voltage. So those out there have a little bit lower voltage, a little bit funky. So I think based on the voltage, maybe this is detecting it as a cigarette lighter jack. Yeah, just something I noticed and thought I'd mention it. All right, so I got the oscilloscope out and it is hooked up to one of the AC outputs. So let's turn the AC output on and we'll see what kind of sine wave we've got. And there it is. We do in fact have a pure sine wave. And I nearly forgot, I know some of you guys are interested in this. There is the AC voltage at 119.65 volts AC. All right, and lastly, let's see if this unit will function as a UPS. So I've got this laptop plugged into the AC output. The battery is disconnected internally in this laptop, so if this laptop loses AC power, it will turn off. I've got the heater also hooked up as a load, and the ETaker M2000 is plugged into my grid. So let's remove the grid power and see if the laptop remains functioning. Alright, grid power is out. We can see we've got 0 watts going in, 759 going out. The laptop is still functioning, so all is well. Let's plug it back in. Okay, the grid is connected again. And there we go, we've got 786 going in, 770 going out. Okay, and one last thing, on their website it does show app control. However, there's not one available, and I contacted them and asked them about this, and they said that it's in debugging stage, so it's not ready quite yet. Alright guys, so I think that's going to be it for the video. As always, let me know what you think about this unit in the comments. I hope you guys found this useful. I'll leave links down in the description, and I'll catch you in the next one.